How to stay high value when he doesn't call or text. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to move on with your head held high when a guy ghosts or starts pulling away. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. So if you're a regular here on this channel, then you know that something I talk about a lot is the importance of being a high value woman. And hopefully that's something that you've been working on and putting into practice in your own life. But I'll acknowledge that sometimes it's really difficult. And one of the biggest tests to being a high value woman is when you're dating a guy and he just stops texting you. You thought everything was going great and now you're not hearing from him anymore. It's really hard to keep your head held high and maintain that sense of value when a guy does that. Your self-esteem just takes a major hit. How can you not? You must have done something to scare him away or turn him off or make him suddenly stop liking you. And so you pick yourself apart trying to figure out what this thing is and how you can correct it and what's wrong with you and what did you do wrong here and how did this whole thing fall apart? Everything was going so well. Why do you scare away every decent guy that comes into your life? And on it goes. And if you don't pick yourself apart, then you might end up just bashing all men and really just railing against the system, this system that has allowed ghosting to be acceptable, and you just get really angry and bitter and jaded. And this also just doesn't serve you in any way. So let's talk about how to come out of this as a high value woman. I'm gonna break it all down for you, so make sure you watch this video all the way until the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please give it a like. This is a super quick, it literally will take 1 second, so super quick way to help me out, help me grow my channel. And if you like my content, make sure to subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified when I post new content, and also be sure to follow me on Instagram at A New Mode. I also want to add that knowledge is power, and a lot of women have no idea how to know if a guy truly, genuinely likes them. Sometimes it can feel super confusing. So this is why Eric and I wrote a super quick, easy guide to know how a guy likes you. And the best part is it's totally free. You can download it right now, or you can wait till you're done with this video and download it at sciencehelikes.com. Okay, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the most likely reasons that a guy will suddenly stop texting you. The first reason is he's just pulling back a bit. And this can be a very natural thing in a relationship. I actually have other videos on why men pull away, so you can watch those to, understand this a little bit more. It's possible that the relationship moved really quickly. Maybe it got intense too quickly and he just wants to step back and recalibrate. Maybe he was feeling a little bit pressured. Maybe it was just a little bit much and he just needed to step back, and that's fine, that's normal. Maybe it has nothing to do with you and he just has something going on internally. Maybe he's having issues with his job, maybe he's having mental health issues, maybe he's having family issues or friendship issues or financial issues. You don't know what's going on, but here's something I can tell you. When guys feel emotionally off balanced or stressed, most men will want to retreat and deal with it on their own. They don't want to be seen when they're in that state. So that's why he might pull away from you. You might not be hearing from him. And all he really needs at that time is your support from afar and for you to just give him space until he's ready to come back, until he's ready to recharge and get a handle on whatever the issue is. Now, what's the next reason a guy might stop texting you? It might be because he no longer wants to see you. And yes, I know this is the nightmare scenario. This is what you're hoping and praying is not the case, but it's very likely that that is the case. Yes, it is possible that he is ghosting you. So why won't he come right out and tell you to your face that he doesn't want to see you anymore? Because a guy would rather walk over a bed of hot coals than tell a woman to her face that he no longer wants to see her. Instead, he would much rather just believe that you're on the same page as him. You also realize that the chemistry is a little off, that your dates have been a little awkward, that you guys just don't really mesh. You don't have the same values, you don't have the same goals, or whatever it is that he's realized. He kind of would like to believe that you realized it too. Or maybe he does genuinely believe that you realized it too. He tells himself, she must know that this isn't gonna work out. I mean, it was just so obvious. So that would just be so presumptuous of me to call her and tell her and have this whole awkward conversation. I'm sure she already moved on. I'm sure she already met someone else. Okay, let's just be done with this and move on. Like, that's where his headspace is at. His headspace is not, oh, I'm really gonna pull a number on this girl and I am gonna torture her and drive her crazy because I am just never gonna text her ever again and make her completely doubt herself and pick herself apart to pieces. He's not doing that. That's not his intention here. His intention isn't to hurt you. He really just doesn't want to be the guy to hurt you, and that's why he's doing it. And I do have a whole other video about why men ghost where we talk a lot more about this. Okay, so that's why it happens. So if your guy is pulling away because you sense that maybe he feels pressured or maybe something's going on in his life, just gracefully give him the space. If a guy is just ghosting you, How do you move on with your head held high? One thing not to do is obsess over this endlessly. I mean, just think about it. Obsessing is not high value behavior. So if you catch yourself in that obsessive trap, you have to nip it at the bud and just do whatever it takes to get out of that. And I'm gonna give you some practical ways that you can implement to make sure that you are able to keep your sense of self-esteem, your sense of worth, and your sense of being a high value woman, even when a guy ghosts you, because we've all been there. I've been there many times myself, okay? I feel you. We've all been there. We're in this together. Number one, you have to realize that it's not personal. I know it feels personal. I know it feels like it must be because you're ugly. It must be because you're stupid. You talk too much. You don't talk enough because you're not smart enough. You don't know enough about this certain subject. It must be something about you. Believe me when I say it's not. Just not everyone is a match. I've mentioned this before. Like, I get this lesson all the time on this channel. There are some people that come across my videos and they love me and they think I'm great and they love my personality and they're like, okay, I'm gonna subscribe. I'm gonna watch all your videos. You're great. And other people are like, oh, this is terrible. Like, I don't like the way that you talk. I don't like the sound of your voice. Okay, I can't even watch the rest of this video. Like, that happens because everyone has their own likes and dislikes. Everyone has their wants, their desires, and certain people can easily fulfill those wants and desires and other people just can't. And it's not because there's something wrong with them. It's just because not everyone's a match. If everyone was a match, then it would just be so easy. I mean, this wouldn't be my job. There would just be no industry for relationship advice at all. It would just be so easy. Whatever, just meet a person and you can just easily be a match. Doesn't work that way. Number two, get back to your lovability. It is very easy to fall into the trap of feeling unworthy and unlovable when a guy ghosts you, when a guy stops texting you. Even if you weren't that serious with this guy, maybe you only went on 1 or 2 dates, it still can really hurt. So with anything, if it's a breakup with a guy that you've been with for 5 years, or if it's a guy that you met for 5 minutes who got your number and never called you, or a guy you went on 1 to 2 dates with, this is a really good exercise to try. I guess you could even call it a meditative exercise. And I am not someone who meditates. I am probably someone who should meditate, but I don't. But this is an exercise that I've done in the past, and it's really powerful. And I've shared it with my readers in the past, and anyone who does it does have a very powerful experience. So here, I'll just explain to you real quickly. Basically, write love on a piece of paper, and around it, write instances in your life where you felt love. It could be you felt the love of someone else. It could be that you felt love for someone else. It could be a song lyric that just perfectly captures the essence of love. It could be a poetry lyric. It could be a quote that you've heard or that you've seen on my Instagram page. I post tons of quotes about love, but it could just be something that just summons feelings of love for you. So write it down all around the word. Then you're gonna get yourself to a calm, nice place, make sure it's quiet, turn off your phone, close your eyes, and meditate on each one of the things on the piece of paper. So let's say you wrote down one experience where, your mother really showed you she cared about you. She took you out to ice cream when you had a bad day. Something like that. Think about that. Think about the experience, relive it, relive how it made you feel. As soon as your mind starts to wander, start thinking about the next thing on the list and keep going until you're all the way around. So it's really like keep thinking about that memory, that quote, that whatever it is you put on the paper until your mind starts to get restless, as the human mind does, and then shift yourself onto the next thing. And just do it and really feel those emotions again and get back in touch with those feelings of love and of lightness and happiness. That will really help you get out of the dark, sad, unworthy place that you might be finding yourself in. Number three, don't try to win him back. This is not a very high value thing to do. This guy decided that he no longer wants to see or talk to you. That's it. The high value way to react to this is to say, I guess he just wasn't the guy for me. I guess maybe I was a little wrong about this. I mean, I thought we had something going, but clearly he's not the right guy for me, because the right guy for me is a guy who's gonna want to be with me. So don't show up places where you think he'll be. Don't come up with cute little jokes or find funny memes to send him to win him over that way. Don't stage accidental run-ins. Don't try to win him back. Oh gosh, this just reminds me of a story of where I did the opposite of what I'm telling you right now. So this was years and years ago. I had gone on a few dates with this guy and he was super into me at first, like super, even though I kind of knew that, okay, like this, we're not totally compatible, but he was so cute. I didn't care. I just wanted to keep going with it. Anyway, he ghosted me. I mean, After a few dates, I just didn't hear from him. And then I didn't even have to stage an accidental run-in. Like, I was fully moving on. And one day, I was walking in the city and I had gone to this like luncheon. So I was dressed, I had a really nice dress on. I like looked great. Like, my makeup was done, my hair was done. I could not have played this better. And I'm walking like to the subway and he's walking and like our paths literally crossed. And he's like, hey, oh my gosh. And looking back, I mean, whatever, not that it matters now, I'm like married with kids. But at the time, I mean, I was so excited by this happenstance. I mean, just running into him in Manhattan, in this huge city, and like we just happened to cross paths. And I had invited him to like this happy hour thing that I was going to, and I was just so nice, so friendly, so sweet. Not 1 ounce of bitterness over the fact that like he ghosted me and I hadn't heard from him in like weeks and weeks. And he agreed to like go to the happy hour thing, and I made sure that I like looked really good, and I flirted with him all night, and I was getting my hopes up that maybe we could pick things back up again. And I never heard from him again after that. This guy decided that he didn't want to see me anymore, didn't text me anymore, and I just like was so desperate and trying to win him over. And I feel like that is our natural instinct. Now, in hindsight, if I could have done that again, or if any of you find yourself in a situation like that, I would have seen him, been perfectly nice, perfectly pleasant, perfectly friendly, and then on my way. And that's it. That's the end of it. Number 4, take an inventory. This is the most valuable thing you can do when a relationship falls apart. Even if it's like a non-relationship like this is still a really valuable exercise. Because if you can't grow from an experience, then you might become bitter and jaded because of it. So it's really important to take the things that happen, especially the things that are painful that happen, and use them as a growing opportunity, and hopefully as a stepping stone to get the relationship that you actually do want. So here are some good questions to ask yourself. What did I learn about myself through this relationship? What did I do in this relationship that I'll never do again in another relationship? Like, what behaviors did I tolerate? Did I act in a way that I hope to never act again? Those kinds of questions. What did I do in this relationship that I could bring to my next relationship? Why did I not see that he wasn't on the same page as me? Was I dating a fantasy? Did I get swept up in an illusion? And if so, why did I allow that to happen? Lastly, why is his rejection having such an impact on me? Now, this last question is the important one. You really got to sit with yourself and dig. Maybe just journal, just let it spill right out of you and see where you land. Number 5, pursue what makes you feel good. Exercise, spend time with friends, spend time doing hobbies that you really enjoy, things that fulfill you, things that make you happy. It's very easy to go down a dark path when someone rejects us. And there is a comfort in going down the road of misery, of feeling sorry for yourself, especially if you're someone who has the tendency to be a little bit self-loathing and self-destructive. You might just kind of use this rejection as a way of proving once again to yourself that you're unworthy, you're unlovable, and you're just gonna go down this negative path. One thing I tell you guys a lot is that the subconscious mind is always looking to prove itself right. So if you have these beliefs about yourself, then your subconscious mind is always gonna look for ways to validate that. So maybe you'll have times where you are feeling good about yourself, and then something happens, like a guy ghosting you, and then all of a sudden, all of that is shattered, and then you're back to that place of, nothing is ever gonna work out for me. Life is just gonna be a series of letdowns for me. Nothing is ever gonna work out the way that I want it to. And I mean, I'm familiar with this line of thinking because I was like that. I was definitely someone who's very prone to falling into this, pattern of self-loathing, especially when things didn't work out for me. And I was able to pull myself out of it just by saying, no, I'm not gonna react this way again, because that has never served me in the past. I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm not gonna go out and drink too much and get lost in, in my own sorrows or rather drown my sorrows. I'm gonna do things that make me happy and feel good, and I'm gonna be productive. I'm gonna be the opposite Sabrina. I'm gonna handle things opposite. And that really made a big difference in my life. What did you think of this list? Do you have anything to add? What are some things that you do to stay high value? Or what are things that you've done in the past when a guy has ghosted you to really feel good, not let this get to you, not let this ravage your self-esteem? I would love to hear all about it in the comment section. Please leave your thoughts, your feedback, any other video topics you want me to cover. I love hearing from you guys. And for more relationship advice, check out numo.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Our newsletter is where we have our best content, personal stories, the works. You can subscribe at anumo.com/subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at anumode, and I'll see you guys in the next video.